So, Minecraft has company politics. It used to be that like they were really great company politics, and that it's just like back when Mojang was a separate entity, they were like the best ever. They, they were just concerned about making their games fun, and that was great. But as of late, you know, because of the Microsoft acquisition and stuff, um, it becomes very clear that some of Mojang's or Minecraft's like ethical standpoints have kind of changed. For example, uh, if you look at Bedrock Edition, which is the new, which is the more Microsoft-y one. You've got stuff like mine coins, which basically like you can you buy stuff. It's very brazen. You've got stuff like you can buy accessories for your Minecraft skin. It really just seems like a shitty version, like a shitty RPG or something. Um, with a bunch of like microtransactions. You also have to pay for all the content for Bedrock Edition. Um, for example, the content creator who made who made the Faithful Resource Pack for Minecraft has a Bedrock Edition version, but unlike the Java counterpart, that version is not free. And yeah, there's just a bunch of of crap like that where stuff is you need to pay for everything. And also another very obvious thing about Bedrock Edition is that it's very clear that the developers that work on the Bedrock Edition do not really care about the actual game itself. There are the game itself has like a certain feel that makes it look like it's just the very small details about it that like just make it look like it was just rushed. Like it's just rushed and it only exists for money. It's a lot of things, but it's primarily is just little things like when you notice like, oh, why does I don't know, like why do the particles look different? Why do, why do the what was it called? Um why do bee nests make a stone sound when you walk on them and break them? It doesn't really make much sense. It's just like a bunch of little things that the Java edition has that the Bedrock edition is just like, nah, it's really not worth our time. You really have to play Bedrock edition and Java edition for yourself to really realize this, but it's just it's when I play Java edition, I feel like everything is like nicely thought out. The just from the way from the user interface, staying true to the theme, to the overall menu being true to the theme. Everything is just like it looks more polished. And I get that that might be more of an opinion thing, but I really do think and feel like it's because of um, it's because of the Bedrock Edition version being more of like for money making than Java Edition was. Um, this wouldn't really be a problem. I mean, because I just like don't play Bedrock Edition then. But I am really concerned that that Java Edition will lose what made it special, and it'll become more like Bedrock Edition. Because the lead developer has stated that he wants the two versions to be as similar as possible, and that would, and I don't want that to end up to mean that I don't want that to end up meaning that there are going to be mine coins on that edition of the game, because it'll just ruin the game. It's a terrible. It would be a terrible business decision. I mean, it would be. It wouldn't be a very ethical decision. Another thing. Oh, I mean, here's a pretty strong piece of evidence too. You'll notice that Bedrock Edition, it boasts about its cross-platform capabilities. However, you need to buy it multiple times on each different platform that you want to play on. That is so stupid. Why? It's like, okay, I bought it for Windows 10 Edition. Never mind the fact that there doesn't even exist a Mac Edition. But I bought it on Windows 10 Edition. And, okay, now I want to play on my phone because Bedrock. Okay, well, that's great. Now you'll have to pay for the mobile version. So, okay, I purchased the mobile version. You know, like what? That's so stupid. You pay it. I bought the game already. It's just so flipping stupid. It's just the little things like that, and a bunch of other things that just. I loathe Bedrock. I think it's like what Minecraft would look like if it was made by EA or something. It is unacceptable. It's just terrible. The recent proposed changes to the Minecraft to the new combat are also very concerning, because I mean, they're not as concerning, but it's kind of like, why? Because the lead developer stated that he wants there to be no differences between the two versions. First of all, that is concerning, but what that would also mean / imply is that he wants the combat to be the same in the two versions. And as a person who really prefers this combat that Java has had for so long, I find it very concerning, because I guess, like, to explain why I find it concerning, I must explain why I like the combat so much. The 1.9 and up combat is superior in my opinion because it was very clearly thought out more. The developers thought, okay, so what is Minecraft really about? Minecraft is about being creative, exploring options, and, you know, just doing what you want to do. So what would be the best way to do that? Maybe instead of just having one like pathetically simple combat interface where you click very fast and you deal the damage when you click. Yes, that is simple, but it sucks. It's just it's too it looks like something that I would program when I was too lazy to actually develop the game and just wanted something to work. It's really dumb. It's unbalanced, first of all, because you can click really fast, right? So the faster you can attack, the more especially in PvP, when I go on a server like Hypixel, it's just not fun to be on the receiving end of 1.8 PvP. You just feel like you've been cheated out of a fair fight. It's completely internet connection dependent. You're stuck in the you're stuck in the air, for Christ's sake, because the knockback is just reapplied every fraction of a second. It's just not fun. And even when I attack and do that, it's not fun for the attacker, in my opinion, either. What 1.9 did is it made combat slower, more calculated. It added more options. So, and this is what I really love about it, is that, you know, you have the axe. If for people who are very confident in hitting their attacks, and they know that, because if you miss an attack with the axe, it's highly punished, because you'll be out for quite a while. The attack cooldown is so long. And this is great because it means that, like, skilled players will have to hit to land their blows consistently in order to be very effective with the axe, which does a lot more damage than the sword. And meanwhile, the sword is what all of them are balanced around, and it provides reliable DPS. It provides unique crowd control ability with the sweep attack, which is really only helpful when dealing with mobs, but, you know. And it also provides, and, you know, it's just, it has a good DPS, basically. Then you have the trident, which is also pretty good. It's just kind of in between the sword and the axe. And I mean, and that's basically it. So what I would have loved is to see, because I love this combat concept of attack cooldowns and stuff like that. What I would have loved to see is, first of all, the idea of, like, still being able to spam but dealing, like, very little damage is, I would have removed that. I would have just made it so that you can only swing, you know, when you're, I mean, I don't really know. I feel like this, like, I'm kind of fine with this because it's kind of intuitive, but to new players it might be kind of confusing as to why they're dealing no damage, but it's fine in my opinion, because it still can allow you to spam in case of an emergency. And it even allows for more flexibility, because say you want to use the axe, but you don't want to, you could go like half charge to deal like still a little bit of damage, but like not have to wait as long. It just allows for more flexibility. So I kind of like the ability that you're able to, like, choose your attack speed. But what I would have done is I would have made the hoe a viable weapon as well. It would have acted like a sickle or something, where it's on the other side of the spectrum as the axe. It deals less damage than the sword, but swings much faster than the sword. So that would have provided an option for the people who have trouble letting go of the old spammy mechanics. They could have just used the hoe. And that's what I really love about the combat, is that all the different weapons now, like, you have options. Before, it's just you have the sword, all the other ones suck, and you click very fast, and that is very stupid. That's currently how it is in Bedrock Edition, and they're proposing to change that with a lot of changes. My first complaint is, first of all, like, what I just described, I would have loved to just stay like that, and with my hoe suggestion, that would have been, in my opinion, that would have been fine. But they still want to change it, so, okay. The reason why they want to alter the Java combat is because they say that it doesn't work well on mobile. You can't play Java Edition on mobile, so what's the point of that? When you're developing a game, you will realize very quickly that the limitations you impose on yourself by making a cross-platform game are going to limit the gameplay. Because... oh, cool, I just found a wild bee. Dope. the limitations you would impose on yourself are very large because you would you cannot implement a good 3D combat system with like aim and all on a touchscreen. You can't, okay? Because half your controller will be just turning your head, and then you also need to be able to attack. So in Bedrock, you can't attack while turning. You need to move, then tap. It's just how the control. It's for the same reason that like you can't hover. You can't implement a hover property like what's going on here on a touchscreen. It just doesn't work because you can't hover on a touchscreen. I'm gonna rob that bee nest. So anyway, so I found it real. I know that they're trying to make the two versions the same, which I disagree with. I don't want them to do that because, first of all, the Bedrock Edition is cancer. It's terrible. And you know, it's just and then they say things like, "Oh, let's make the Java combat more simple and worse to work on a touchscreen, even though Java Edition will never be able to work on a touchscreen because they said they don't want to make the two versions be able to play with each other." So, okay. What do we make of all this? Well, first of all, the Minecraft developers, I know that they still, the veteran developers, I know that they still have their morals in the right place. I know that because the Java developers think about gameplay, they think about all that stuff, and if I was able to make a game like Minecraft Java Edition, I would be so happy because the developers really have a lot to be proud of. Okay, but like the same cannot be said for the Bedrock developers. They rush something out and only care about money. So the idea that they want to make their games, I agree that the features should be similar, but the combat, but like not all of the features. Like there's some stuff that works better in Java that doesn't work in Bedrock, like the combat. And for the record, this combat system would work in Bedrock as well. Like there's nothing stopping them from adding this current combat system to the Bedrock Edition. But whatever. So anyway, you know, I feel like I just really like Minecraft Java Edition. I love the attention to detail. I love the amount of the visible thought the developers put into it, and I agree with all of their decisions. Here's another example. I'm kind of going like all over the place with my points because this is kind of unscripted, but here's another example of Bedrock Edition being weirdly unethical. They made an entirely different version of Minecraft. They basically copied Minecraft Bedrock Edition. They copied all the files that made the game, altered it slightly, packaged it, and sent it to China so that they could sell their product in China, which is you know, a censorship fuckfest basically. So if I were to make a game and I wanted to stay true to my ethics, I would not package it in China because it's not fair. I mean, yes, because I know that their goal with packaging it for China was not because, oh, we want the Chinese people to also be able to enjoy it. Because that's stupid. The Chinese people have been able to play Java Edition because everybody who's semi-competent is able to use a VPN and all that stuff to get around the bullshit of the censorship in China. So to say that it's because we wanted them to be able to play is very stupid. So it's obviously just because they wanted them but China's a big market. They wanted money, and that's not a reason to say, okay, cool. So all of this oppression, all of this unfair censorship in China, we'll deal with that. You know, we will comply with the injustice, and that's just it's such a it's not I don't like that. It's not ethical, and it's not something a game developer should be proud of. Being only about money is not good. And so, you know, just that they made an entirely different version of Bedrock for it's so stupid. Like, don't do that, okay? It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to anybody who realizes what's really going on there and why you really did that. So I mean, another huge example, the Bedrock Edition, it doesn't care about its community. It cares that its community makes it revenue, gives it money. You can't have, it's in beta, okay, but it's been in beta for fucking forever. You can't really have a dedicated server to run. You need to pay Microsoft to run a Realms server for you. Java has Realms too, and that's fine because you can also run a normal server if you want. It just might require a little bit more tech knowledge. But Java has Realms. That's perfectly fine. That's not the issue. It's that Bedrock forces you to use Realms if you want to play with your friends. And there are a lot less servers on the Bedrock Edition because you need to basically have a contract with Microsoft for them to feature your server, since you can't host servers. So stuff like 2B2T, never would be on Bedrock because it's too profane, and Microsoft cares about its fucking reputation, so that wouldn't happen. And it's the little things like that just piss me off. And I don't want Java to end up being like that. I love how Java expresses freedom, how the developers genuinely care and love the game that they created, and it shows. And I don't want, and the recent debates of like what should the new combat be, I feel like I'm not gonna, like, because I know that my opinion isn't by default the best, but I feel like I feel like I analyze the combat. I analyze the games that I play way too much, and as somebody who makes games myself, obviously not as on the same scale as Minecraft, but I know good game choices, good game design choices, and I see what the developers have done, and I see that they're doing a great job. So in conclusion, to conclude this rant, first of all, okay, I found this irrelevant. Here's a cat, because the whole the whole background gameplay of this video was me trying to get this achievement. But yeah, so in conclusion, I don't want, I hate Bedrock. Okay, I don't want Java to end up like Bedrock. I want Bedrock to fix its flaws, and I don't want Microsoft to influence Java Edition. I also want the Java developers to realize what's going on. I'm sure they realize it, but I want them to know and keep the Java Edition what we all know it for and love it for. And the combat, I want them to not think about Bedrock when they make the Java combat, because that's really it's stupid. It's a stupid thing to do to have to worry about touch controls when your game is not can't even be played on touch controls because the Java version is PC. So it's yeah, so just that. And I gotta when I first started playing Minecraft, I was playing the Bedrock edition, but I didn't really like it, and I couldn't wait to get the. I was so happy when I finally got the Java edition because I was so tired of the tiny little screen and my fingers being all over the screen, and the controls were so clunky, and I hated it. And also at that time, it had a lot less content. So when I finally came to Java, I was so happy. Yeah, that's the only reason I was playing Bedrock was because I didn't have a PC back then. But I would have definitely played Java in terms of gameplay and just everything standpoint, from an everything basis. So I really hope that the Minecraft developers don't ruin this, because this is one of those games that that, like Team Fortress 2, like this game and Team Fortress 2 are my favorite because I respect them so much. I respect I love the beginnings of the games, the development process, the attention to detail, the love that the developers put into the games, and it's just they are the opposite of all the what I don't like about the video game industry. So they don't have microtransactions that are required. It's Minecraft is even better than TF2 in the terms of microtransactions, not having microtransactions, and that's just great. Minecraft model is you pay for our game, then you have it and you do whatever you want with it. The sky's the limit, and that's great. I love that. Bedrock, not so much. And it's I don't want them to ruin it, please. Yeah. So those are my thoughts on the topic. I really hope that the developers think about their new combat decisions for the next update, and I really hope that they keep the love that they had for the game back in the early beginnings of, like, back when Notch was around, like those kinds of because when the team was small, they had so much love for it, and now it's just like becoming a corporate shithole. And Java is the living what's remaining from all this, and it might change for the worst, and I don't want it to change for the worst. So that's that. Thank you for listening to my mini rant. Had to get it off my chest. It's what I think about every time I play Minecraft in general. It makes it really hard to enjoy the game itself, and I probably have a problem if I can't enjoy the game because I keep on thinking about these things, but that's just me. Thanks for watching. Share it. Share this if you agree with my opinions that I've just shared. Or if you don't, use the comments as, you know, say, I disagree with this, here's why, and I might change my opinion. I might change your opinion. You never know. It's a great, let's have a nice discussion about the future of this game we all love. Goodbye.